Hey guys, if your WP admin page isn't working, either it's just not loading or maybe you get a white screen, then keep watching as in this video I'm going to show you how you can fix this problem. Now the first thing we need to do is to disable our plugins. Obviously we're not going to be able to access the WP admin page, so we're going to need to log into the hosting cPanel. So once you're in your hosting cPanel, it's going to look something similar to this, and you want to scroll down and find somewhere called File Manager. And inside of File Manager, you'll see all the files to your website. And you need to come into something called Public HTML inside of WP Content. And you should see a folder called Plugins. Come inside of Plugins. And as you can see, these are all the plugins that we currently have installed on our website. And what we're going to do is we're going to disable these plugins one by one to try and rule out any plugins that could be causing the issue with WP Admin. So how we're going to do that is we're going to select the plugin and we're just going to rename it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a digit at the end of it, and by renaming it, this is going to disable the plugin. So you want to do this one by one, and then we can go back to our WP Admin page and just try refreshing the page to see if it's working. Do this for all of your plugins until you find the one that's causing the issue. If you rename all of your plugins and the WP admin page still isn't working, then we can rule out our plugins, and I'd suggest deleting these digits at the end to re-enable your plugins. So the next method we're going to try is to go back one level from here into a folder called Themes, and we're going to do the same again here, but this time we're going to disable the theme to rule out any problems that could be arising from the actual theme itself. So the theme that I'm using is WordPress, so I'm simply going to rename this to WordPress 1 to disable the theme. And then once again, we can see if our WP admin page is working. Now, if that's still not working, let's come back one level from this folder. Let's first just rename our theme back to what it was before, now that we've ruled out that isn't an issue. And then let's just come back one folder, and then back one folder again. Inside of this folder, you should see something called htaccess. Now what we're going to do, we're going to first right-click this and download it to create a backup. And then we're going to right-click it again, and this time we're going to select Delete. And you can press OK to delete the file. Again, you can check to see if that's fixed the issue. Otherwise, I'd recommend just re-uploading the htaccess file back into here, as we now know that's not causing the issue. Next thing we're going to do while we're still in this folder is we're going to check our file permissions. So the first file you want to look for in this folder is wp-login, and you want to check that under permissions it's set to 0644. If this file is set to a number other than 0644, all you need to do is right-click it and select Change Permissions, and then edit these permissions accordingly to make sure the number is set to 0644. And then the next thing you want to do, you should have a folder called WP-admin, and you want to check the permissions for this one is set to 0755. And once again, if it's set to a number other than this, you just simply need to right-click it and change the permissions. And then the last and final thing that could be causing the issue is something wrong with the actual core WordPress files. It's quite uncommon, but these files control the WordPress login process, so you want to make sure they're all working perfectly fine. To do this, we want to come to wordpress.org, and then you want to download the latest version of WordPress. And then once it's finished downloading, just open up the WordPress zip folder. And inside of here, you want to find a file called wp-login, and let's just drag that to our desktop so we can easily find it later. And then we're going to come back into our file manager. And in here, you should see a file called wp-login. We're going to right click and delete this file. And then we're going to upload the new one that we just saved to our desktop. We can just hit the upload button here, select the file, come and locate it in the desktop. And there we go, that's now uploaded to our folder. So hopefully by following all of these steps, that's now fixed any login issues that you may have. If you still are experiencing problems, please drop a comment below and I'll try my best to assist you. If this video did help you, please drop a like and subscribe. Until next time.